Yes guys, I hope we're all good. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we're going to run through my lower A resistance training session. If you haven't done so already, go and check out upper A. Over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be documenting the rotations A, B, and C for my upper lower days and documenting them on YouTube, just to give you guys some value and also help you understand that this is a program that I have followed over the last 10 years. Now, the numbers do not matter, but I'm a firm believer that consistency wins. So having done upper lower for the best part of 10 years, it has helped me. I would label myself as a power builder and not necessarily a bodybuilder, although there is some strength and hypertrophic components that are combined into my program. It's allowed me to squat 300 kilos, squat 230 kilos for 17, bench 200 kilos, and also deadlift 300 kilos. But again, the numbers, they don't really matter. What matters is my technique, my tempo, and sort of the setup for that session. It's always worked for me. But throughout these next 12 weeks, I've actually included a third rotation. So typically it would be an A and a B, but I've decided this time around to keep progressing and to stop sort of plateauing on specific lifts. I've included a C rotation. So that will be documented on YouTube over the next 12 weeks. Upper A, lower A, upper B, lower B, upper C, lower C. And I'm hoping that being fully transparent and kind of showing you these baseline numbers, what I'm hitting during week 1 versus week 12, having dropped hopefully a considerable amount of weight, but also ensuring that it is maintainable, that my strength is going up. Because I think that's the biggest misconception, that you will lose strength, or perhaps you're not going to hit PBs or actually build muscle whilst in a calorie deficit. You most definitely can, but of course the literature is moving towards calorie surplus is what's needed for building muscle. So let's jump straight into a lower body A resistance training session. I always like to start my leg days with a hip adduction. The reason being is it gets everything firing and it actually helps with my hip mobility as well. I decided to take the top set for a set of 6. I actually managed to bring my gym pin in, and we've got the stack. I'm not sure what the stack weighs just because it goes down in 1, 2, 3, 4, but we've got a 20 plate on the end there. To be honest, it's not the best machine, and I'm going to pause it there. The reason being is there's no WD-40 and it doesn't feel like lubricated, so it actually sticks halfway through, and I'm hoping the gym is going to invest. We're looking at expanding. I believe they're expanding around May, June time. They've actually knocked through next door as well, which is nice to see, but I'm hoping that the gym is going to invest in another hip abduction machine. I decided to take 3 sets here. Top set was set 6, and then the back offs were 8 to 15. I then moved on to one of my main compounds, which is a deadlift. I decided to take 2 sets here, and we can see I'm actually getting mentally prepared, ready to attack that set. I haven't actually deadlifted for the best part of 5 months. So sort of my last training block. The reason being is I had really bad sciatica pain, and sort of my SI joint wasn't firing, or my sciatica wasn't firing, and my SI joint kept getting caught. But I think a peak bulk, I managed to hit around 260 kilo for 6 repetitions, which I was pretty happy with considering all of the injuries. But today I just decided to take the top set for 220 kilos for a set of 8, and then back offs was 180 for 12. But we'll jump into it. Mentally, I'm prepared. Physically, I'm also prepared as well, now that I'm warmed up, having done the hip adduction. You can actually see how patient I am, and then I'm driving my hips forward at the top. You'll notice that my spine, the position of it, is neutral throughout the entire movement. I think the biggest mistake I see is sort of the lumbar spine bending as you try to drive that weight up. If your mobility isn't that good, you could even practice a Malasana pose, which is basically just a deep squat, opening up your hips. But I like to start with a hip abduction just to get things firing. So I was pretty happy with that set. I then decided to move on to a plate-loaded pendulum. Now, I've got a love-hate relationship with the pendulum. The reason being is when my knees are firing, I can load it up. You know, I've hit 7 plates for around 8 to 10 repetitions. And then to go into a set like this and get 6 repetitions, it's mentally defeating. We can actually see I'm pausing there, sort of trying to get into that mindset and that focus. I'd actually done a set before, 5 plates for 15. It most definitely wasn't to failure. I've done 5 plates for around 20 reps with someone spotting and they say go for more, but how many reps is sort of like go for more before they're not as stimulating sort of thing. So I managed to do 6 repetitions here. You can see that it moves fairly well, but it's just extremely uncomfortable. When I'm deep in that position and my knees driving forward, it's just, for context, I actually tore my ACL and my meniscus playing football a good few years ago now, probably like 12, 13 years ago. So it's never really been the same. I've had a cortisone injection in it as well. But yeah, it's just any sort of squat pattern. Whether it's a leg press, it's fine. When I'm on that Rogers free squat, which you'll also see in rotation B, I believe, lower B, that's fine. We can see I tap my knees at the bottom. Moving on. I then went into a leg extension. Now, for some guys, they like to do the leg extension prior to their main compound, just to get the muscle fully short, and then you train the muscle in a lengthened position towards the end of your training session. The reason being is fatigue management as well. But to be honest, I like to run the pendulum first and then leg extension second. My ability to shorten the quad is going to significantly reduce, but do you know what? It's probably a few percent. So I'm setting up here. I've got the 2 blue pads, which is going to help to increase my range of motion. I've also got a light blue pad underneath my, sort of where my hamstrings are, the back of the knee. The reason being, it's because the actual seat in the gym is very, very sharp. So it's digging into the back of your knee and it's super uncomfortable. That's probably why I see the majority of men, even women in the gym, sort of going towards the Atlantis leg extension. This is a primal leg extension. It's okay. We've also got a unilateral hammer strength, which you'll see in the other rotations, but I like to use this one. I'm using wrist wraps as well, pulling myself down into that seat just so that my hips are staying in the exact same position. From what I've noticed is that as you start to fatigue, sort of hips come up, your positioning starts to go off. Really, we want to make sure that your hips are completely down. We're pulling into that seat, and then we're going through knee extension and then back through to knee flexion. Big emphasis on pausing at the top of the range and also the bottom of the range. You shouldn't be swinging the weight from A to B. There's a difference between moving weight and actually contracting a muscle, controlling it through that range. So I'm pretty sure towards the end of this set, I actually tap my knees and I go, thank you very much. It's usually whenever I'm shortening the quad, it's quite painful, or any sort of squatting pattern. But hopefully moving forward, touch wood, I don't have any extreme discomfort, which means I'll have to swap out exercises. I mean, to be honest, I could do, or I could just look at load management. Yeah, I'm smiling there, which means it was a good sign that I got the set done, sort of thing. But yeah, I just want to make sure that I can have a fixed program that I can progress on every single week. Yeah, I'm giving the thumbs up. The knees were pretty good there. I then went into a seated hamstring curl. So again, you'll notice the main compounds. I'm only doing sort of 2 sets. For any sort of isolation work, I'm doing 3 sets or more volume. Top set here, I've got the stack. Again, I'm not sure what the weight is, but I managed to add in the gym pin and a 20 kilo plate. And I believe I took this for 6 repetitions. I always like to take my top set for 6 repetitions, 6 to 8 max, and then sort of the back offs around 10 to 15 reps. But I was pretty happy considering where I am throughout the resistance training session. Started to get a little bit more fatigued here. Then I moved into a standing calf raise. Big emphasis on that stretched position. So the research does suggest that a standing calf raise compared to a seated calf raise is going to elicit significantly more hypertrophy, just based on, again, the biomechanics around it. I'm pausing at the bottom. I'm also pausing at the top. But again, from what the research is suggesting, that bottom half of that range towards the middle is what's going to be the most stimulating. But as a coach and also from my own training experience, I do like to take the muscle through the full range of motion. But I also do like to sort of test things when it comes to new research, and also based off on feeling as well. You know, if it feels good, I might try it. But generally speaking, for my working sets, it's always through the full range of motion. Perhaps it's just a more emphasis on sort of that lengthened position where I'm pausing at the bottom. So I did these 3 sets. I believe it was around for 10 to 15 repetitions here. Very, very nice machine as well. You can see the chap in the background also doing a standing calf raise. That's also a very nice machine. I'm not sure what model that is. And then I finished off with a abdominal raise. So on upper A, I believe I was doing a glute ham raise crunch. This time around, I'm doing an abdominal raise. Hip flexors were firing here. Also lower part of the abdomen was firing. Did this for around 10 to 15 repetitions. I was meant to finish off with biceps, 2 bicep movements, Bayesian curls, so where the cable was coming behind the back, and also a single arm pin loaded preacher curl, which is out in front of me, but I was rushing for time, so I'll probably have to do that on a rest day just to ensure that I don't miss, but also I'll put it around when I'm next doing my upper training session, just so it doesn't impact any sort of pulling movements on B or C. So slight pause at the top, slight pause at the bottom, taking it through the full range of motion. And that is my full lower A complete. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. I shall see you in the next one. For upper B, it's going to be a good one. I believe we've got some dumbbell pressing.